The Sentinel of Silence. Night shift at the Grand Plaza. The monitor in room 402 flickers with a ghostly blue light, casting long, distorted shadows against the cinder block walls. On screen 7, a heavy velvet rope in the luxury wing begins to sway. There is no air conditioning running at this hour, and no open windows. Yet the rope moves with rhythmic precision, as if someone has just brushed past it while in a hurry. A single metallic click echoes through the empty food court, picked up by a sensitive microphone, sounding like a coin dropping onto cold marble from a great height. The life of a night security guard is defined by the absence of sound, yet it is the small, inexplicable noises that carry the most weight. For Elias, the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift at the Grand Plaza Mall was supposed to be a period of solitude and easy pay. The mall, a cathedral of modern commerce by day, transforms into a labyrinth of liminal spaces once the glass doors are chained. In the daylight, thousands of feet tread these floors, but at 3 a.m., the atmosphere thickens with a heavy, stagnant energy that feels almost liquid. The shift begins predictably. Elias performs his first perimeter sweep, his flashlight cutting a lonely path through the darkness. The mannequins in the high-end department stores are the most unsettling part of the early hours. Without the vibrant store lighting, their plastic skin looks unnervingly human, their sightless eyes appearing to track his movement as he passes. He tells himself it is a trick of the light, a psychological phenomenon known as pareidolia, where the brain seeks patterns in the dark. Yet, he finds himself walking faster whenever he passes the bridal boutique. By 1 a.m., the mall settles into a deep, unnatural quiet. The hum of the industrial refrigerators in the basement and the occasional groan of the building's settling foundation are the only constants. Elias sits in the security hub, surrounded by 32 screens of grayscale footage. It is during this time that the visual anomalies usually begin. A shadow that does not correspond to any physical object will dart across the mezzanine. A motion sensor in the children's play area will trigger, showing a carousel horse slowly rocking back and forth despite the power being cut to the ride. The climax of the night begins at precisely 3:03 a.m. This is the hour often referred to as the threshold, where the veil between the mundane and the unknown is at its thinnest. Elias notices a dark smudge on the camera facing the central fountain. He leans in, wiping the screen with his sleeve, thinking it is a smudge of grease. The smudge moves. It is a silhouette, tall and thin, standing perfectly still at the edge of the water. It has no discernible features, appearing only as a hole in the darkness. Elias checks the other cameras. The figure appears on screen 12, then screen 15, moving toward the north wing at a speed that is physically impossible for a human. There is no sound of footsteps on the monitors, only a low-frequency hum that vibrates the glass of the security desk. Heart pounding, Elias realizes he must investigate. Protocol dictates that any intruder must be identified, though every instinct in his body screams for him to remain in the locked room. He enters the north wing, his flashlight beam trembling. The air here is noticeably colder, his breath forming faint clouds in the air. As he reaches the center of the wing, he hears it, a soft, melodic whistling. It is a tune from decades ago, echoing off the skylights. He shines his light toward the source, but the beam hits only empty air and the cold surfaces of closed storefronts. Suddenly, every motion-activated light in the corridor snaps on at once, blinding him. When his eyes adjust, the whistling has stopped, replaced by a frantic scratching sound coming from behind the shuttered gate of an old toy store. The tension reaches its peak as Elias approaches the gate. The scratching is desperate, like fingernails on metal. He shouts a warning, his voice cracking in the vast space. The scratching stops instantly. From the darkness inside the store, a single red ball rolls out from under the gate, stopping exactly at his feet. There is no one inside the store. The internal motion sensors show absolutely nothing. Elias backs away, the realization sinking in that he is being toyed with by something that does not follow the laws of physics. He retreats to the security hub, locking the door and watching the screens until the first light of dawn begins to bleed through the high glass ceilings. As the sun rises, the oppressive atmosphere evaporates. The shadows regain their normal shapes, and the mall returns to its state as a harmless center of trade. When his supervisor arrives for the morning handover, Elias says nothing about the red ball or the silhouette. He knows that some things are meant to stay in the dark, and that the Grand Plaza Mall holds memories that only wake up when the world goes to sleep. The shift ends, and Elias walks out into the cool morning air, the sound of the city's traffic a comforting reminder of reality. But as he reaches his car, he glances back at the top-floor window. For a fleeting second, he sees a thin, dark hand pressed against the glass, waving a slow, rhythmic goodbye, before vanishing into the reflection of the sun. The diary of the night guard remains a secret, a collection of moments that defy explanation, recorded only in the silent testimony of the security cameras.